What's happening, guys? James Blonde here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements for the week ending May 12th, 2014. And this week we've got so much news, it's going to be hard to pack it all into one recap, but here goes. Starting out, we saw the finals for the 2014 League of Legends All-Star Challenge that took place in Paris this past week, leading up to a huge victory for SK Telecom over OMG, taking home over $50,000 in cash prizes along with bragging rights as the strongest region in the world. Next up, it looks like Path of Exile is also in competition mode. Grinding Gear Games launched a 2-week ambush/invasion race event last Saturday to benefit the Child's Play charity that raises money to provide toys and games for children in over 70 hospitals worldwide. To further support the charity, Grinding Gear is introducing an exclusive helmet skin called the Angelic Mask for only $5. That's available during the 2-week event, and 100% of those proceeds will be directly donated to the charity. Not only that, but the participants in the race are set up with being able to win some pretty sick prizes themselves based on their level at the end of the race. Some of these prizes include premium Stash Tab bundles, Razer mice and keyboards, Turtle Beach headsets, and even high-end NVIDIA graphics cards. The cool thing about this race is that these prizes are evened out and they stack as you level up. Plus, seeing that the race is 2 weeks long, you can actually start at any time with really good chances to win cool prizes. I might do it myself, seeing that it only takes about a day to get to level 40. Perfect World Entertainment released episode 2 of its class reveal for Swordsman Online, introducing 3 more of the 10 primary classes you can play in the game. This time they revealed the Shaolin, the warriors who strive to acquire incredible force and strength, focusing on both defensive and offensive skills. And the next one is a female-only 5-venomed school, who worship the snake, the centipede, the scorpion, the spider, and the toad, applying their poisons in combat. And finally, the Zephyr school, who have very strong icy control abilities and are masters at evasion, using cloaking abilities to either escape or surprise their enemy. With this new trailer and them giving out tons of closed beta keys to their community, I could easily say the beta is coming sooner than you may think. So last week we saw the Tempest of Strife expansion arrive for Age of Wushu, but this week Age of Wulin players are getting the Immortal Legends expansion. This new expansion actually expands on the game's features with things like dynamic PvP tournaments, new PvE content, facing the Mongolian invaders or in turn becoming their mercenaries, and on a quieter note, getting married. There are plenty more details on this new expansion, but seeing that the Age of Wushu got a lot of attention last week, we didn't really want to leave out those Wulin players. And by the way, the expansion is available in several different languages. On a similar note, because just like Age of Wulin, this game is also published by Webzen, Archlord II released more information along with a new trailer this past week showing off its intense gameplay and combat. Focusing on engaging and largely unrestricted environments, Archlord II features a classless character system that allows players to adopt any role in combat depending on the type of weapon they've chosen. There are currently 4 different types of weapons in the game for now, but when selecting that weapon, players are given access to a set of skills that corresponds with specific MMORPG archetypes. But they'll be able to change back and forth seamlessly. So from the sound of things, the combat in the game along with the chain skill system makes it seem like it's going to have a similar playstyle to that of C9 or Vindictus, which should be really exciting for most of us. I guess we'll have to find out fairly soon, seeing that the closed beta is supposed to start up sometime during the first part of June. Next up, the Dark Legion update has hit for Aura Kingdom, which means an all-new dungeon and several new maps have opened up for high-level players. The partners system is introduced, and there are now many new ways to earn points and rewards during gameplay. The new maps are focused towards players over level 60. One called Vulture's Veil takes place in a ruined city now being reclaimed by the jungle. This map offers daily quests, but players have to earn them by defeating a world boss who spawns randomly on the map. It surely isn't the biggest update, but still an update nonetheless. Head over to MMOHuts site post from the link in the description below for more details. Last week I mentioned big changes in add-ons coming to Heroes and Generals, and this week it's here, with 9 new goddamn tanks, according to their trailer title anyway. They're calling it the Patton update now, and it's their biggest update yet, where players can unlock new vehicles as they progress in the game and create a unique vehicle loadout for each of their characters. Their new trailer here highlights the new tanks as well as a brief look at the new personal vehicle loadout feature, and I've got to say, the trailer looks pretty badass. I can only imagine these new tanks are that much more badass. Infinite Crisis introduced the Green Lantern's arch nemesis Sinestro as the latest champion, changing things up a bit. Sinestro comes in as a blaster assassin with low health but lots of power. He does come in with plenty of fear and a skill buffing passive, making it perfect for him seeking out wounded. His ultimate is Fear Incarnate, which he projects Parallax, which is the living embodiment of fear, at his enemies, stunning them and dealing power damage that also fears other nearby champions away. Talk about singling them out. To me, he seems like he can take some time to get used to, but end up really fun to play for those who can actually handle being the squishy type. According to their site post, Sinestro will appear in-game on May 21st. Next up, a fairly new tactical combat etherpunk game from Cliffhanger Games called AErena Clash of Champions has now become available on Steam free-to-play as of this past week. This game is a tactical, hero-centric turn-based game that takes place in the sky between two airships, where players try to hold points to charge up their ether and take down their enemies using champions. It's like Speed Chess meets League of Legends. The game has been in early access on Steam for a little while now, but with their launch, Cliffhanger Games is holding a $1,000 tournament for its players. From now until July 1st, players can fight their way up the ranks and into the Master League for a shot at $1,000 cash, along with 2 iPads being raffled for players who reach Diamond League, which is just below the Masters League. It's an interesting game to say the least, so it's probably worth a shot. Maplestory gets its massive Legacy of 9 update this past week. Legacy of 9 features the brand new soul weapon system that is used to convert regular level 75 plus weapons into soul weapons that allow you to use a special skill once you fill your soul gauge by killing monsters. First off, you fight bosses to gain soul shards, which you can then use to fuse a boss's soul into your weapon. Each boss soul grants a different skill to your weapon, and it's kind of like Val skill gems in Path of Exile, actually. But another big part of this update is the guild system overhaul and Murgoth dungeon, set up for players over level 75, giving you the good opportunity to hunt for these soul shards. And no update would be considered a massive update without zombies, of course. But this is a bit different. Star zombies and howlers have risen that have a chance to drop contaminated mesos. If you pick them up, you become infected, of course, eventually becoming a zombie. And as you succumb to the virus and undergo its various stages, you gain different stat boosts. And like I said, this is a really big update, so find out more at the MMOHuts site post from the link below. On a similar note, and talk about big updates, Grand Chase is rolling out Season 5 with the biggest content update to date. The first feature added in this multi-part update is what they call character separation, which allows players to fully utilize a completely separate UI and interactive environment for each of their characters instead of packing them all together like they did previously. It will also prepare the game's framework for all of the features to come. By the time this multi-phased update is complete, players will experience a dungeon experience like never before, a completely new user interface, bigger, faster, smarter AI, brand new active combat dodge and combo systems, and player characters will be revisited and revamped. Plenty of cool features and new features are coming. So much so that it's worthy of an MMOHuts refresher in the near future. Next up, Game321 is publishing a new Streets of Rage style side-scrolling brawler called Endless Fury that gives players the freedom to design and unleash their very own devastating combos. Players build their unique combos by combining a range of moves and skills together, which can then be unleashed in real time during skill-based combat. We somehow didn't hear about this one until this past week, but kind of looks like a combination of Chronoblade, Maplestory, and Streets of Rage, which actually sounds pretty good to me. Plus, it's already available. You can try it out now. It's launched. 2 new Transformers debuted last week for Transformers Universe just after announcing the game's Founders Program. This time for the Autobots, we meet Showdown, who always seems to find his way to the center of the battlefield, where he's a big hit with his allies, sharing his shield and taking damage for the whole squad. So in other words, he's a tank. On the other side of things, we meet Bent Out of Shape Mismatch for the Decepticons. He's engineered to survive enemy focus fire as well, being most effective when his allies are nearby, since he can also absorb their damage and become strengthened just by them being there. Looking more and more like a game I honestly want to try. If in fact it's a MOBA and its gameplay is similar to Heroes of the Storm, I'm all in. Well, I know that some of you guys are happy to hear this. Magicka Wizard Wars is finally ready for open beta. Paradox Interactive and Paradox North announced last week that the game will be playable for free by those who demonstrate a lack of self-preservation instinct, when the title enters open beta, and it looks like that will be happening on May 27th. You guys have been looking for Magicka Wizard War keys, and now you shall search no more. And now for our last bit of news, finally, I figured I'd let you know that Wildstar is open, free to play to anyone from now until the end of this week on the 18th. Yeah, I know, the game isn't free to play, and usually I don't mention things about it, but right now, as of right now, until the 18th, it is free to play, so check it out when you can. It's for sure worth doing, and then you'll know whether or not you want to keep paying for it or go back to hoping that it'll go free to play at some point. Look, I'll even make it easy for you. You can download the game directly from the link in the description below. And with that said, that's about it for the MMO news and announcements for this week. For more information about the news topics in the video, check the links in the description below. Otherwise, there's plenty more MMO news at MMOHuts.com/news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below or head over to MMOHuts.com/forums. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.